Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to Nerdarchy. 4 nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ted.
Dave.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Nerdarch.
And today we're going to talk about character voices. So, what do you guys think?
Well, honestly, of this group, I am the worst at character voices. I've never been particularly good at maintaining a character voice.
Yeah, it just starts to shift and change, and you're off. Well, sometimes like the hard thing of like, you know, after hours and hours of a game going on, and you're paying attention to plot and this and that. Like, yeah, sometimes you
switching from character to character too. If you have a lot of characters, you're dealing with a session.
As
DM
a
versus player. Yeah.
As a DM, it's a lot harder unless it's like a specifically. This is a one and done encounter, and you can come back to it later. But for the evening, that's it. You're taken care of.
Yeah, but I feel like it's more memorable and important as the DM because let's face it,
the NPC that you interact with on the regular kind of deal.
Yeah, when you get involved with a group, when you get involved with a session, and you have a DM that's really good at doing that stuff and does it often, like Fistful of Dice, Mass Click. He's
that
awesome
guy
at it.
Some great, yeah.
He's awesome at it.
Accents.
And so is Barker. From Be a Better Game Master. Those guys are really amazing at doing voices, and you know, especially Fistful of Dice. That guy just stays in character for his games. If you watch his Provokers series that's going on right now, so like I am nowhere near that level. That definitely in my GMing, that's not one of my strengths.
So you try to diminish, you kind of shy away from your weaknesses.
Well,
but, you know.
So you also have the accent and the way of talking, and then you have the
mannerisms.
The mannerisms. So
the cadence of speech.
Maybe they have a twitch, or maybe they always roll their right shoulder or left shoulder. So you're kind of always like in that like a mannerism, or maybe they're hunched over all the time, or they speak softly.
So
fast.
One of the things that I do, or at least I try to do, is I narrate it. So like if there's something going on with their voice that I don't feel comfortable with or confident enough to emulate, I'll just do the narration of it.
Yeah, like I'm generally not going to try to do like a female voice. Like I can't hit the high pitched ranges and this and that. Like, and it's just
like in the campaign I ran the other day, there was a sentient mushroom that started singing, and one of the players wanted to know what it sounded like, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to duplicate it.
He did not want to burst into song. Right? So, yeah.
Well, he just basically said it started singing. You know, and I'm like, all right, well, let's just go along with it.
Right, yeah, and so you know, SR2 Joker, Andrew Knapp's like, well, what's it sound like, Dave? Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, it kind of sounds high pitched, you know, as if you were to kick a Smurf in the nuts.
Exactly like
that. You guys get the gist.
Yeah.
You know, for me, when it comes to character voices, either as a player or a DM, I have to feel it. You know, it's got to feel natural, and when it just hits, I can just do it. The majority of my PCs and NPC characters, most of them just don't get a special voice. This is what you hear. This is what they do.
Or they all sound like Griswold.
Well,
if they're a blacksmith, what can I do for you?
That's the Griswold template. It just gets turned on.
There are certain like voices that you keep in your back pocket to do, like the Sean Connery. Or I can't even think of anything else right now. But most people that roleplay have a Griswold or a Sean Connery in their back pocket.
So like I said, I have to feel it, and when I've got it, I can just go to that. You know, Dave ran a game yesterday online. I played a gnome. It was hysterical. There was a singing mushroom that he was carrying around. Utterly fantastic. But I was able to do a gnome voice. I managed to talk quickly and do the high pitched voice. And hilarity ensued. In the game that I ran last weekend, there was, or whenever it was, there was this creepy old lady in a crazy item shop, and I gave her a voice. And, people said, hey, that was cool. But beyond that, I can't tell you the last time I actually spun a voice for a specific character.
Yeah. And to get into, like, where it gets into like awkward territory. So when we did the Andrew Knapp's Meat Grinder, the Planescape thing, and I had this character concept before we got into this game. I knew the voice I was going to roll with, right? So it was Brimstone, the Tiefling Necromancer, who his full title is Brimstone, the Red Necromancer. He was a redneck, like, so I did like the sort of southern drawl, like,
Didn't he wear
voice.
like overalls?
Yeah, like an overall robe sort of thing, like, like there was like. there was overalls, but there was like a hood going on and stuff like that. And apparently now he's become part of the like one mining company because that's
Chaos Prospectors.
Yeah, Chaos Prospectors, because that's just cool. So as long as they don't mind having a necromancer in their midst. But so I decided this character was going to have a redneck voice when I made him. And then we played the meat grinder, and there was a woman that was from Oklahoma, which they have like the southern sort of twang, and like it was basically the way she naturally spoke was what I was going for with my character, and I had the decision: am I going to do my character or not? And I just went with it and did my character, and I'm just like, I wonder if I offended that lady, like, because it's the same thing, like. If your character is like an Asian American character who's going to have that heavy,
my God.
Like pronouncing the L's like R's,
I'm already seeing a heavy theme here, right? So in my game yesterday with Andrew Knapp, he did an elf that spoke with a very feminine voice, but also very haughty voice. And he said, I don't know if he said it during the game or afterwards. He was going for there's this very odd northeast accent, right? Like the Maine area, upstate New York. They talk that way too. It
like JFK.
Terrence, what is it? Terrence and Phillip from
South Park.
From South Park.
So like a Canadian voice.
Yeah, it is, but like it's like it's the Syracuse accent where it sounds like that redneck, deep South kind of. Not everybody in the deep South is a redneck. I'm not saying that. But that deep southern drawl,
but very softly pronounced somehow.
But with it's that southern twang with that northern almost Canadian accent combined, and it's really odd.
But he talked real slow, and he got his point across, and so it felt haughty, it felt slow, and it was like, so you were like, all right, come on, just get to the point. So you're having a conversation with this guy talking really slow and the gnome talking really fast.
And with a childlike voice.
But
then, in our Teenage Mutant Ninja game with Andrew, he did the Asian accents, and they were really bad. And sometimes, and then he tried doing Puerto Rican and Hispanic accents that just went Asian. He was really struggling with those. But, but the fact that he's able to even do that, to me, blows my mind, because I suck at accents.
Well, I mean, so playing ethnicities other than your own, it gets into the problem of potential parody. I mean, on the other hand too, like if you're doing it privately your game, like you're in your own home and like nobody's gonna see it. We broadcast what we do, so like we're open to criticism and ridicule on whatever is going to happen. But like I had a character that like he was a black guy that grew up in the ghetto, like the Anvil, like was a professional boxer, but he was also like I was going for like an Allen Iverson, Mike Tyson sort of thing. Where like he was just good like at what he did, and he had awesome powers, but he didn't really work particularly hard for them. It's like the idea of Allen Iverson like eschewing the idea of practice. Like if you watch like interviews of him in like the 90s and early 2000s.
No, practice. Talk about practice.
Yeah, like
you got to be from Philadelphia to understand.
I mean, like so like Iverson, like they got rid of him because he didn't have a work ethic. He was just naturally gifted. And like I went with that as my concept for the superhero. It's just like I'm big and strong, and I'm usually the hammer that like knocks through the problem. Every problem looks like a nail, and I'm very good at being a hammer.
I would say one of the things that I do is when I DM and I DM a female character, the voice is usually softer. And I do not stroke my beard. While I am playing the female character, it really breaks.
Is anybody else right now picturing Nate in a bonnet?
No.
Thank God.
So speaking about leaving your fetishism off the table.
So
what about you?
If you've got a beard and you're playing a female character, don't stroke it. Your beard. And also, I would say, I kind of like tuck my shoulders in a little bit to seem smaller, which is difficult for me, but it makes me feel like I'm getting better in character by lowering my profile.
That's
the bonnet would probably help too.
So that's a little bit more like
sometimes you do pull like body language.
Servants. I'll tend to lean over the table more towards people. not look them in the eye while I talk to them. Those kind of things that a servant would most likely do.
So if you aren't a voices kind of person, or even if you are doing mannerisms, and
Body
things
language
like
will
that,
go a long way.
Absolutely, and it not only helps you get and stay in character, but it convinces everyone else at the table, almost subconsciously, as to what's going on.
And a little bit of the pantomime, like I'm not talking LARP here, but if you're a character that makes like big broad strokes and actions, like your bravado character, like Ace Zenith, my paladin of the Silver Flame, like he's a egotistical jerk, but he's like so he's like over the top,
bombastic,
and everything he does is like big broad broad action. So like I probably should do more where I'm like flailing my arm out or whatever as I do.
Oh, he's over there.
Yeah.
I was basically jumping up and down in my chair during the one conversation.
Yeah, you seemed energetic.
Yeah. So bring in a little bit of that.
Also, like as a tip, like more so, I think I guess I'm thinking more from the DM's perspective than the characters. Just I guess
Because you GM a lot more.
Yeah. So, like, maybe, you could come up with an accent where for only, like, one catchphrase that a character does. Like, if it's a recurring character.
Right.
So maybe that character has a catchphrase and maybe you try and do the voice only for that. There's things like that to help, bring out the character.
There's little things like you can talk through your nose or you can talk in a mumble, or something like that. You can talk softer, louder, faster. Like all those cadency sort of things are ways to pull it off too.
And is a person naturally grumpy all the time? Do they have a bad life? Or are they in pain all the time? That's going to influence the way they speak and also.
Well, yeah, because if you have a character that is grumpy all the time, and if as the DM, if you can put on that sour face, and when you start talking, if you just scrunch your face up and kind of envision, someone who's
Grumpy cat.
Yeah, your voice will naturally change with that anyway. So there's definitely things you can, or if you're doing someone who is very rigid and upright, if you sit up tall and and expand your chest and push your shoulders back, that's going to naturally change the way your voice is. So there's definitely little things that people can do to come up with voices for their characters.
Right. Just have a few keywords like that you want to be thinking about. When
and it's less obvious than accent, but it's very impacting, and you can also put it off as I'm not actually trying to do the voice.
Well, but not only that, it's less obvious, but it's easier. Yes. Not everyone can mimic an accent, but everyone can change their body position. Everyone can try and talk in the back of their throat instead of the front. But mimicking an accent requires it's actually several skill sets. One is actually hearing it. And the other is
replicating it.
Replicating it through your speech. But I feel like there's some mental things that go on in between.
There's another thing you could do, like just be very commanding. Like everything your character says is a command. Like instead of "Can you bring me that?" Bring me that. So instead of
the
like
person that doesn't ask questions.
Right.
Well, or you could go the other way too. Like you said, just inflection. What if it's a timid character? Bring me that. You can make commands in the questions.
Add stutters. To show the lack of confidence. Could you get that for me? All those type of things tend to give you more options for your character.
So
options.
Basically
options for playing different types of characters.
I usually think of like different characters from movies. I'm like, hey, can I I was thinking of like some of the characters from like House of the Thousand Corpses for Brimstone, the Red Necromancer. Because they're basically like this crazy cannibal family that they're like redneckish. Yeah.
Well, so really, it's just thinking about the mindset of the character and what is it going to take, to be in that. And sometimes if you can get there, you don't even have to think about, well, what voice do I have to do? You're just there. My gnome, I decided he doesn't have an inner monologue. He just says, okay, well, whatever thought pops in his head, he's just going to say it. Which is why when we came upon the mushroom, he was like, well, can I eat it? And the mushroom.
Well, no, you said, can I eat? And he's like, ah! And I never heard what you were saying after that.
And it was a contemplative question because he's actually got an 18 intelligence. He's very smart. So it was what is the situation here? Gnomes normally would eat mushrooms because they're foresty people, but this one can talk. So what does that mean?
Oh.
So
That you'll be evil if you eat a sentient mushroom.
Oh, speaking of which, I was inspired by an actor. The little guy from he's a character actor that was in The Princess Bride, the Sicilian, with like Never Gamble with Sicilian with Deaths on the Line.
Yeah.
So like that guy, and before it talked about the gnomes, the gnome that's an illusionist, but illusions the undead, so passes himself off as a necromancer. I was like, all right, so this guy, like he's smart and bright, and maybe like he got bullied around, like being a small gnome in like a mixed society type of thing, but he saw a stage magician pulling off some stuff, and like maybe it was just through more conventional stage magic. But he's like, if I put on this creepy air, people will probably leave me the heck alone.
They'll respect me.
Yeah. So like,
Or hunt me down with torches.
yeah, one or the other. Well, sometimes fear is power. So
yeah.
yeah, and I'll talk like Dr. Orpheus from Venture Brothers. So,
So there's a handful of tips there, and there's one last one I want to throw out there for gamers. If this is not your bag of tricks and you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to be a voice actor to play D&D or any role-playing game.
Just do your voice.
You can just enjoy it. Maybe you just, like I said before, maybe you just narrate.
describe the action.
Describe the action. Describe how your character sounds or talks.
Go third person as opposed to first.
Whatever's comfortable. Well, I actually like the idea of talking in first person because that actually gets you back into role-playing. But what I'm saying is there's a difference between role-playing and actually trying to become a voice actor, because that's what we're talking about. Let's face it.
Absolutely.
And not everyone's suited for that. And I would hate to see someone get intimidated out of role-playing games because they're not good at it, and they feel like that's something they need to do. And I'm just saying it doesn't.
The only thing I would say is just if you know that's something that you don't want to engage with, shy away from the character that's the face character of the party. Like, don't be the guy that does the.
You don't have to. You don't have
Well,
to.
you don't have to have a voice to be the voice to be the face character.
Yeah, as long as you're willing to talk. That's what
Yeah.
we're saying. I'm
Okay.
saying.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you're somebody that would rather not actually do the role playing, just don't be that character.
But that's
you're
not what
you're
we're
gonna
talking
take
about.
you're gonna take the magic out of all those scenes.
What
by
we're
being
talking
that
about
character.
is someone who wants to role play, but isn't comfortable
isn't
with
going to do the
accents.
voice, yes.
Yeah, and making up voices
Our,
and stuff
our
like
friend
that.
Mark, who's in the group, he might play a gnome one day. I don't know if he likes gnomes, but he's not going to do a little guy voice
No,
from a gnome.
absolutely not.
It would be hilarious if he did.
It would be, yes, but we
It's going to have to be requested.
would
now.
laugh way too much. We wouldn't get anything done. We would just be
Yeah.
laughing at that voice, and he'd be like, "Oh,
But-
forget you guys."
But my point is, the way you described how certain voices should sound, they could just tell people that.
Yeah.
Think of Dr. Orpheus from Adventure Brothers.
So-
think of whoever.
So if you've got it's like, all right, Nate's going to play a gnome. If Nate can't do a high pitched voice, he'll say, all right,
Think of the Chipmunks.
Think of the Chipmunks. This is what my character sounds like. And every so often throughout the session, make sure people remember that so that they stay in the proper mindset. Because let's face it, if you're playing a gnome or a high pitched character,
And you're like 6 feet tall.
no. I mean, it can get irritating, and that's part of
Irritating and strenuous for the person doing it.
Yeah, for the person doing it, believe me.
Strenuous,
and
irritating for everybody else.
But for everyone else, it's like, oh man, that sound just gets grating on your ears, and that adds to the environment, to the role playing, of what's going on. So,
Like the other parties might find the characters might find that other character's voice annoying and grating. Like they can play it.
so it's like, was the dwarf saying, let's just move along because he didn't want me to keep talking, or was it because he was just plot centric?
Yes, I think yes is the answer to that.
Indeed, sir. Indeed.
Yeah. So have we talked this one out?
I think we've
so.
role played it out well enough.
So if you've got any suggestions out there for talking in a voice or mannerisms and whatnot, put it in the comments below. While you're there, go ahead and click like, share, subscribe.
Find us at nerdarchy.com.
Or you can find us on the Facebook well enough there.
You can also join the conversation on Reddit.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.
Today we're going to talk about character voices. So, what do you guys think?
Well, honestly, of this group, I am the worst at character voices. I've never been particularly good at maintaining a character voice.
Yeah, it just starts to shift and change and veer off. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes like the hard thing of like, after hours and hours of a game going on and you're paying attention to plot and this and that, like sometimes you
And switching
lose-
from character to character, too.
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ted,
Dave,
I'm Ryan.
I'm Nerdarch.
and
you have a lot of characters you're
Well,
dealing
if
with
you're-
throughout
if
a
you-
big session.
as
DM
a
versus player, yeah.
As a DM, it's a lot harder unless it's like a specifically. This is a one and done encounter, and you can come back to it later. But for the evening, that's it. You're taken care of.
Yeah, but I feel like it's more memorable and important as the DM because let's face it,
The NPC that you interact with on the regular kind of deal.
yeah, when you get involved with a group, when you get involved with a session, and you have a DM that's near that level, that definitely in my GMing, that's not one of my strengths.
So you try to diminish, you kind of shy away from your weaknesses.
Well,
but, you know.
So you also have the accent and the way of talking, and then you have the
Mannerisms.
The mannerisms. So
The cadence
you
of
know, maybe
speech.
they have a twitch, or maybe they always roll their right shoulder or left shoulder. So you're kind of always like in that. Oh man, like a man.
He's really good at doing that stuff and does it often. Like Fistful of Dice, Mass Click. He's
That guy
awesome
does
at
some
it.
great, yeah.
He's
Matt Glick does
awesome at
great
it,
accents.
and so is Barker
Yeah.
from Be a Better Game Master. Those guys are really amazing at doing voices, and especially Fistful of Dice. That guy just stays in character for his games. If you watch his Provokers series that's
yeah.
going on right now, so like I am nowhere